Okay, so today we are on integers and then integers quick review in OneNote, and we're just reviewing our topics. So I will always give you templates for your notes. You don't have to use them, you could just do your own thing, but it'll also be a guide, and feel free to use it as you would like and as you would not like. When we're talking about integer operations, I strongly feel like multiplication and division are easier. Would you agree? Maybe. Okay, so we're going to do them first. Why don't we start with the easy stuff and we'll get a little bit harder. So we'll do a quick review. So multiplication and division. Generally speaking, you're copying down exactly what I write, because these are your notes, right? So when we multiply and divide, there's kind of a general rule we can use with regards to integers. Does anyone remember that general rule? So I'm talking about positive and negatives. Remember, positive and negatives are integers. Yes, Libby. Good, you said it exactly as I was going to say it. If it's the same sign, it's positive. Different signs, it's negative. I'm going to write down a couple of examples to emphasize that for you. So for example, if I'm going to write a negative with a circle around it, so that way I feel like it's a little bit more clear. If I do a negative times a negative, I have two of the same sign. So my overall answer is going to be positive. If I'm doing division and I have a negative divided by a negative, overall my answer is positive. Super lovely. On the flip side though, different signs. So say I have a positive times a negative. That's really messy. My apologies. Two different signs there. Overall, I get a negative. Same thing with division. If I have a positive divided by a negative, overall, negative. When we talk about addition and subtraction, it's a little bit more complicated and there's not a set rule. So let's put our title in, I suppose. Addition and subtraction. So with addition and subtraction, we don't know for sure our final answer is going to be positive or negative like we do with multiplication and division. But there are some rules to help us along the way. So if you have two of the same signs side by side, it's positive or addition. And I'll show you what I mean. So for example, if I had 1 minus negative 2, I have a subtraction sign and a negative sign. Both of them are dashes. Both of them are horizontal straight lines. That's the same thing. Overall, that's addition. So that's really saying 1 plus 2, which gives us 3. You can think about that in a lot of different ways. I'm taking away negatives. Right, there's a lot of different ways to think about it. Black and white, I wrote down the same symbol side by side. Overall, it's addition. On the flip side of that, if you have two different signs side by side, overall subtraction. So that would be if I had 1 minus positive 2. I'm taking away 2. That plus sign sometimes just wouldn't be written, right? Because sometimes if there's no sign beside a number, we assume it's positive. but a positive and a negative are both there. Overall, that's the same thing as saying 1 minus 2, which gives us -1. If these rules don't work for you, say like you just don't want to memorize them, it's not sticking with you and how I'm saying it, there's a lot of different ways working with positive and negatives can help you. I think a really good one is to think of a thermometer or temperature, right? It's getting 4 degrees colder. It's getting this much warmer. Overall, it's this. Have you guys heard those analogies before? Miss Dipole used that one? Great. I love that one. Sometimes we can think of money. You're this much in debt. You found this much money on the ground, or your mom gave you some money. So sometimes money is also a good one to think of. Does anyone have any other ideas how sometimes we can use it? Yes. Ice cubes. So ice cubes would be negative. You add warm water. Totally. Brown, was that yours as well? Yeah. Yep. That's another really good one. Actually, the activity we're going to do later today has ice cubes as a reference. It's what works for you. Do you have to like them all? No. You just have to understand integers. That's our goal. Okay, let's go through some of these examples I have on the bottom. So in math class, often we'll put extra signs in that sometimes wouldn't be there. So in this first one, it's -3 plus +4. I could have just said -3 minus 4. So sometimes we'll put the brackets in there kind of as an extra piece to emphasize it. In this one, I'm really saying I have -3 and I'm taking away 4 more. Overall, what's that answer? Let's have hands. Ainsley. -7, right on. Okay, I'm going to go down these. So -13 minus -9. I have the same 2 signs side by side. So overall, we're really adding there. -13 plus 9, what would that be? Dion? -4, good. So we're 13 degrees down on temperature with -13. It got 9 degrees warmer. Overall, it's still cold. It's still -4, but it did get warmer. Okay, there's some here that have a couple of operations. When we have a multiple operation, so addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, we have to use BEDMAS. Do you guys use BEDMAS or PEMDAS? BEDMAS? They're the same thing, I realize, but just whatever you say. So occasionally we're going to use BEDMAS. Brackets is first. I didn't really give you room to show your work here. What's -9 plus 10? Someone I haven't heard from. Kelly. 1. What's 1 times -1 then? Cameron. -1. I have a positive. It's not written here, but it is a +1 times -1. 2 different signs. That's familiar? Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes. I want you to try the rest of them on your own. We'll come back and we'll check together, but I want you to try them on your own. That's okay. It's okay to have to think sometimes, right? It's been a long time since you've done math like this, I'm sure. I do not expect this to be easy. That's why we're doing this today. Okay, these were tricky. That's okay if it wasn't easy. That's okay if you don't remember. That's okay if it was a super struggle. It's okay if it wasn't, right? We're learning this together. Integers are hard. Okay, this next one, -2 times there's stuff in brackets. We have to do the stuff in brackets first, right? That's always our rule. Brackets are first. I'm going to show a lot of work. Do you need to show this much work? No. These ones, you could have just written down the answer. That's totally fine. I'm going to show a little bit more. So on this one, I have -2 times, this is really saying -10 plus 8. 2 of the same signs are side by side. A subtraction sign and a negative are the same thing. They're both just a line. So this is really then saying -2 times -2. I have a negative times a negative, which gives me an overall +4. It's okay if you got it wrong. We are doing this for a reason. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Okay, let's look at the top of the next column. Order of operations, we do multiplication first, then addition and subtraction. So I have -3 times a +4. Two different signs, so overall, it's my multiplication answer is going to be negative. What's 3 times 4? 12. So then it's -12. Good. So -12 plus 5. Overall, I have more negatives. So my answer is still going to be negative. It's going to be less negative, but still negative. So I get -7. Okay, this next one's a bit of a doozy. There's a couple things going on here. I just want to point out first here, on this first line, there's 2 sets of brackets, right? Like I have the kind of more square brackets and then the rounded ones. Square brackets are kind of, you do those ones first and you work your way in with them. So I have 15 divided by 5. If I ignored the signs, what is 15 divided by 5? Oh, come on, guys. You all know this. What's 15 divided by 5? 3. One of them is negative, so it makes it awesome. So I get -3. That's this first chunk. We dealt with it. I'm going to rewrite this negative sign for a second. Now I have 2 and a -2. This first 2, is it positive or negative? Positive. Was that positive written? No. And this is how math can be like super frustrating because sometimes it's written and sometimes it's not. And so when it's not written, we have to remember that it's positive. So really that's 2 times -2, which gives me overall -4. Good. I'm just going to move this down. So this was -3, my rewritten negative sign, and then I get -4. Now I have 2 of the same signs side by side. So it becomes +4. Overall, -3 plus 4 is 1. That's a hard question. That is a hard question, that one. Okay. 5 times -3. -15. Good, Oscar. So this first chunk, I think that was Oscar, wasn't it? Sorry, Cole. Yes. So overall, this first chunk becomes -15. This next one, I have a minus sign and then a subtraction sign, then a minus sign. 2 of the same sign gives me addition. So here, this was in brackets. It didn't need to be. That becomes addition. So I get -15 plus 2. What does that give me? Good. Okay. Our last one. Without negatives, what is 12 divided by 4? 3. 12 was positive, 4 was negative. Makes it overall negative, so I get a -3. Plus -5, 2 different signs, so I'm subtracting. So my temperature is 3 degrees below 0. It's getting colder 5 degrees. Overall, what's my temperature? -8. Okay, so for the rest of class, hopefully this is going to work. On the on the top of my page, I hyperlinked an activity that you're going to click on. However, I don't know if it's working in your notebooks. You might have to click on it from the content library. When you click on it, it'll say make a copy, hopefully. Okay, I will fix that. Let me get, so, and then there's this activity here for you. There's a bunch of questions here. We only have 10 minutes left in class, so we're going to work on it for a little bit, and then we'll have more class time tomorrow, okay? I think you have to access it from the content library. Try that, because I think I fixed it. If not, I will try fixing it again.